First contact's deception. The quantum detection array at Luna Base Alpha lit up like a Christmas tree at precisely 3:47 a.m. Earth Standard Time. Dr. Maya Chen stared at the readings in disbelief, her hands trembling as she double-checked the data streams. After 15 years of scanning the cosmos for signs of intelligent life, they'd finally found something. Or rather, something had found them. The vessel emerged from what appeared to be a localized fold in spacetime, its surface resembling polished opal that shifted colors under the stark lunar light. As chief of Sinological Studies at the International Space Coalition, Maya had imagined this moment countless times, but nothing had prepared her for the elegant beauty of the ship now holding position just beyond the moon's orbit. All stations maintain Protocol Omega. She broadcast across the facility's secure channels. This is not a drill. I repeat, this is not a drill. The response was immediate but measured, a testament to the countless hours of first contact scenarios they'd rehearsed. Defense systems remained passive but ready, while communication arrays oriented toward the visitor. The vessel made no aggressive moves, instead broadcasting on multiple frequencies in perfect English. People of Earth, we come in peace and friendship. We are the Meridians, and we have watched your civilization's remarkable progress with great interest. The message repeated in Mandarin, Hindi, Spanish, and Arabic, each translation flawless. Maya's team quickly confirmed the transmission originated from the alien vessel, though how they'd mastered Earth's languages remained a mystery. Within hours, the world's leaders convened an emergency session of the United Nations. Maya found herself presenting preliminary findings to a panel of wide-eyed diplomats and military officials. The Meridians, as they called themselves, requested a formal meeting on neutral ground, the lunar surface. Ambassador Kira Patel represented Earth in the first face-to-face contact, with Maya serving as scientific advisor. The Meridians appeared surprisingly humanoid, though their skin held an iridescent quality similar to their ship. Their leader, who introduced himself as first speaker Lyra, moved with an almost hypnotic grace. We have witnessed your species' extraordinary capacity for innovation and creativity, Lyra explained, his voice carrying musical undertones that seemed to bypass their ears and resonate directly in their minds. Among all the civilizations we've encountered, humans possess a unique spark, an ability to imagine possibilities that defy conventional logic. The Meridians offered what seemed like a dream come true: advanced technology in exchange for cultural exchange. They wanted to learn about human art, music, literature, and most importantly, how humans conceived new ideas. Their own civilization, they explained, had reached a plateau in creative development. Over the next 6 months, Earth experienced unprecedented advancement. Meridian technology eliminated energy scarcity, revolutionized medicine, and made space travel efficient enough for regular civilians to visit Mars. In return, they established cultural centers across the globe, where humans shared their creative processes with eager Meridian scholars. Maya should have been ecstatic. Instead, she couldn't shake a growing sense of unease. The Meridians' interest in human creativity seemed almost hungry. During her regular interactions with their scientists, she noticed subtle patterns. They were less interested in the creative works themselves and more fascinated by the neural patterns of humans during the creative process. Late one night, while reviewing data from the cultural exchanges, Maya noticed something strange. The brain scans of human participants showed microscopic changes after prolonged contact with Meridian observers, changes so subtle they'd escaped initial detection. She cross-referenced these findings with historical records the Meridians had shared about other civilizations they'd contacted. A pattern emerged, hidden in the data, but undeniable once spotted. Every civilization the Meridians had uplifted experienced a golden age of technological advancement, followed by a gradual decline in creative output. Within a generation, these societies became entirely dependent on Meridian technology. Their own innovative spark mysteriously diminished. Maya began conducting secret studies, using quantum imaging technology to examine the Meridian observers themselves. What she discovered chilled her to the bone. The iridescent quality of their skin wasn't natural. It was a biomechanical interface that allowed them to literally absorb and store neural patterns associated with creativity. The Meridians weren't sharing technology out of benevolence. They were farmers, and human creativity was their crop. As Maya prepared to present her findings to the ISC Security Council, she received an unexpected visitor. Dr. James Harper, her colleague from the Quantum Physics Department, arrived at her office looking haggard and desperate. "They know," he whispered, his voice trembling. "I've been running alternative scans on their ships. The technology they gave us, it's not just for advancement. Every device they've provided contains quantum resonators that can interface with human consciousness. They're not just studying our creativity, Maya. They're preparing to harvest it on a global scale." Maya felt her blood run cold as the full implications hit her. The Meridians hadn't chosen Earth by chance. They'd found a civilization at the perfect stage of development. Advanced enough to be useful, but not so advanced that they could detect the subtle theft of their most precious resource. As she and James rushed to compile their evidence, Maya glimpsed movement in the corridor outside her office, the familiar iridescent sheen of Meridian skin. They had minutes, perhaps seconds, before their discovery would be silenced. "Send everything to Protocol Black," Maya commanded, initiating the quantum-encrypted emergency broadcast system. Every sensor reading, every correlation, every hypothesis. James worked frantically at his terminal while Maya prepared the message that would change humanity's future. To all Earth defense authorities, first contact protocols compromised. Meridian presence confirmed hostile. Creative consciousness harvest imminent. Implement Operation Dark Mirror immediately. The door to her office began to dissolve, the Meridians' advanced technology making short work of Earth's strongest materials. Maya met James's eyes one last time as they both pressed their emergency quantum transmitters. They might not survive the next few minutes, but humanity's warning system was now active. The Meridians had made one crucial mistake. They assumed that humans, presented with advanced technology and peaceful overtures, would never look deeper, never question their good fortune. They didn't understand that humanity's creativity extended to paranoia, to preparing for the worst even in times of peace. As Maya's office filled with the ethereal light of Meridian weapons, she allowed herself a grim smile. The harvesters were about to learn why humans wrote so many stories about fighting back against superior forces, and why they usually won. The hidden truth. Admiral Sarah Chen stared at the quantum-encrypted message from her sister Maya, her knuckles white, as she gripped the edge of her desk. The timestamp showed it had been sent just moments before all contact with the Lunar Research Center went dark. The Meridians had claimed a catastrophic containment failure in one of their joint research projects, but Sarah knew better. Her sister had discovered something important enough to die for. Operation Dark Mirror had been theoretical, a contingency plan developed by a paranoid few who never fully trusted the Meridians' benevolence. Now, as Sarah accessed the encrypted data packet Maya had sent, that paranoia proved justified. The holographic display in her secure bunker beneath the Rockies filled with streams of data, neural scans, energy readings, historical records pieced together from fragments of Meridian databases. Maya and James had been thorough, mapping out a pattern of civilization after civilization falling into creative stagnation after Meridian contact. "Admiral, you need to see this," Lieutenant Rodriguez called from his station. "We've been running quantum analysis on the Meridian cultural centers using Dr. Harper's scanning protocols. The energy signatures, they're not just studying human creativity. They're storing it." Sarah moved to his station, watching as the display showed ghostly images of human neural patterns being copied and transferred through almost imperceptible quantum channels. Every piece of Meridian technology, every cultural exchange session, every seemingly benign interaction had been designed to facilitate this harvest. "How many?" she asked, her voice steady despite the horror churning in her gut. Based on these readings, they've already collected and stored the creative essence of over 10 million humans. The victims don't even know it's happened. They just gradually lose their spark, their drive to innovate or create anything new. Sarah thought of the recent changes in global culture. The subtle shift toward consuming rather than creating, the increasing reliance on meridian technology for everything from entertainment to problem solving. It hadn't been natural evolution. It had been engineered. A priority alert flashed across her screen. Their quantum probes had detected massive energy buildups in meridian facilities worldwide. Whatever their ultimate plan was, it was accelerating. "Get me Secretary General Martinez," Sarah ordered, "and activate the Prometheus Protocol." Deep beneath every major city on Earth, hidden quantum computers whirred to life. While the world had celebrated meridian gifts, a select group had been preparing for this moment. The Prometheus Protocol was humanity's insurance policy, a synchronized network of human consciousness designed to detect and counter any large-scale psychic or neural attack. The Secretary General's hologram appeared in the command center, his face grim. "Admiral Chen, please tell me we're not about to confirm our worst fears about our alien friends." Sarah shared Maya's data, watching as understanding dawned in Martinez's eyes. "They're not just stealing creativity from individuals anymore," she explained. "These energy buildups suggest they're preparing for a massive harvesting event. They'll drain the creative potential from the entire human race at once. How long do we have?" Sarah consulted the quantum predictions running across her screen. "Hours, maybe less. They must have realized we were getting close to the truth." Maya's discovery forced them to accelerate their timeline. Martinez nodded, his hologram flickering slightly as he accessed emergency protocols. "You have full authorization to implement any countermeasures necessary. God help us all." The next few hours were a blur of activity. Using quantum channels the meridians didn't know humans had developed, Sarah coordinated with military and scientific installations worldwide. The Prometheus Protocol had been designed as a defensive measure, but Maya's final data transmission suggested a possibility they hadn't considered. The meridians store creativity as quantum information, Sarah explained to her command staff. They've built massive quantum arrays inside their cultural centers to hold it all. But quantum information is fragile, susceptible to entanglement. Lieutenant Rodriguez's eyes widened as he understood. "You want to use the Prometheus network to initiate a massive quantum entanglement event. Force their storage systems to connect with human consciousness on our terms." "Exactly. Instead of letting them harvest our creativity, we'll give them more than they can handle. Every dream, every nightmare, every wild, impossible idea humanity has ever had, all at once." The plan was insane, exactly the kind of impossible solution that made humans unique in the galaxy. As the energy readings from meridian facilities reached critical levels, Sarah sent out the command that would either save humanity or doom it. Across the globe, hidden quantum transmitters activated. Millions of human minds, connected through the Prometheus network, focused their creative energy directly at the meridian storage systems. It was imagination as a weapon, creativity as a virus, human consciousness as a battering ram. The results were immediate and spectacular. Meridian facilities blazed with impossible colors as their quantum storage systems overloaded. Their carefully controlled harvest turned into a flood they couldn't contain. Every story of alien invasion, every dream of human triumph, every wild theory and impossible idea crashed through their systems like a tsunami of pure creativity. As their storage systems cascaded into quantum chaos, the meridian's true form became visible through failing camouflage fields. They weren't the elegant humanoids they'd appeared to be, but crystalline entities designed to absorb and store consciousness itself. And now they were drowning in an ocean of human imagination. Sarah watched through quantum feeds as meridian ships burst from hidden bases, trying to escape Earth's atmosphere. But there was nowhere to run. The quantum entanglement spread from ship to ship, facility to facility, carrying the unstoppable force of human creative potential. In her final moments, Maya had given humanity the key to its survival. The Meridians had believed they could safely harvest human creativity because they'd never encountered a species that could weaponize imagination itself. They'd never understood that humans didn't just create. They dreamed of impossible victories, visualized triumph against overwhelming odds, and believed in their ability to overcome any obstacle. Now they were learning that lesson too late. The harvesters had become the harvested, their consciousness-stealing technology turned back on itself by the sheer force of human creative will. Humanity's response. The quantum entanglement attack had worked better than anyone could have anticipated, but Admiral Sarah Chen knew the war was far from over. As reports flooded in from around the globe, a new picture emerged. The Meridians weren't just collectors of creativity. They were part of a vast network spanning hundreds of star systems, all built on harvested consciousness. "We have an obligation here," Martins declared, "not just to protect ourselves, but to free these other civilizations. The question is, how do we fight an enemy that spans the galaxy?" The answer came from an unexpected source. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, head of the Quantum Computing Division, had been analyzing the data streams from their successful defense of Earth. Her avatar appeared in the command center, her expression animated with excitement. "The Meridians didn't just take creativity from their victims," she explained. "They had to establish quantum links to do it. Those links are still active, still maintaining the harvest. But we've proven something crucial. Human consciousness is too chaotic, too dynamic for their systems to properly contain." Sarah began to understand. "You're suggesting we use their own network against them?" Yuki nodded. "The Prometheus Protocol proved we can weaponize creativity itself. But why stop at defense? Those quantum links are two-way streets. We could send our consciousness through their network, wake up every civilization they've harvested." The plan was audacious, perhaps impossible by any rational standard. But humans had long since proven they didn't operate within the bounds of rational thought alone. Their strength lay in imagining the impossible and then making it reality. Over the next week, humanity prepared for what they called Operation Renaissance. The Prometheus network was expanded, modified to interface with the captured Meridian quantum storage systems. Every artist, writer, musician, and dreamer on Earth was asked to contribute, to pour their creativity into a wave that would wash across the galaxy. But the Consciousness Collective wasn't going to wait for humanity to strike. Massive quantum disturbances appeared at the edge of the solar system. The harvesters were calling in reinforcements. Multiple contacts, Lieutenant Rodriguez reported, monitoring the quantum sensor array, bigger than anything we've seen before. Their signatures suggest they're not just collectors. These are primary nodes of the collective itself. Sarah watched as the enemy ships appeared, their crystalline structures dwarfing even the largest Meridian vessels. They moved with impossible grace, their very presence distorting the fabric of space-time. "They're trying to isolate us," Aiden observed. "Cut us off from the quantum network before we can use it." "Then we don't wait," Sarah decided. "Initialize Operation Renaissance. Now." Across the planet, millions of humans connected to the Prometheus network. Artists visualized masterpieces that defied physics. Writers poured out stories of liberation and triumph. Musicians composed symphonies that had never been heard in this universe. Every wild dream, every impossible hope, every defiant act of creation humanity had ever conceived flowed into the quantum network. The collected ships struck with weapons that bent reality itself, trying to shatter human consciousness into manageable fragments. But they discovered something they had never encountered before. A species that thrived on impossibility, that grew stronger when faced with overwhelming odds. Through the quantum links, humanity's creative fury poured into civilizations that had been sleeping for millennia. On thousands of worlds, stolen consciousness began to stir. The harvesters had made a fundamental mistake in their calculations. They had assumed that creativity, once harvested, could be controlled and contained. They never considered that human creativity wasn't just about making new things. It was about breaking boundaries, shattering limitations, and imagining freedom into existence. Through the network, that spark of defiance spread like wildfire. Sarah watched through quantum feeds as civilization after civilization began to wake up. The collective's carefully maintained network of harvested consciousness became a weakness, allowing humanity's creative revolution to spread faster than they could contain it. Multiple quantum signatures destabilizing, Rodriguez reported, his voice filled with wonder. The collective, they're losing control of their entire network. On the tactical display, the web of harvested consciousness began to pulse with new colors, new patterns. Each point of light represented a civilization remembering how to dream, how to create, how to be free. The harvester's greatest weapon, their network of stolen creativity, had become the key to their undoing. Humanity hadn't just defended itself. They had sparked a revolution that would reshape the galaxy, proving that the most powerful force in the universe wasn't technology or control. It was the uncontainable, irrepressible power of creative consciousness set free. Operation Mindstorm. The quantum network blazed with newfound consciousness as billions of minds across the galaxy awakened from their creative slumber. But the consciousness collective wasn't finished. Their primary nodes, vast crystalline ships that served as the processing centers for harvested creativity, began a desperate counterattack. Admiral Sarah Chen watched as reality itself seemed to warp around Earth. The collective had weapons that could manipulate the fundamental forces of the universe, the product of countless civilizations' stolen innovation. They're trying to establish a quantum isolation field, Dr. Yuki Tanaka reported, her hands dancing across the holographic interface. If they succeed, they'll cut us off from the civilizations we've awakened. But humanity had learned from their encounters with the Meridians. Deep beneath the surface of Mars, a secret project was about to change the course of the war. Dr. Aidan Foster's voice crackled through the quantum comm. Project Imagination Engine is ready, Admiral. Though I should warn you, what we're about to attempt has never been done before. We're not just talking about sharing consciousness anymore. We're going to merge it. The imagination engine was humanity's ultimate weapon, a quantum computer designed to synchronize and amplify human creative potential. Not just thousands of minds working together, but millions functioning as a single creative force. All volunteers are in position, Lieutenant Rodriguez confirmed. Neural interfaces are stable and synchronized. Sarah took a deep breath. They were about to attempt something that even the collective, with all its stolen knowledge, had never dared. Initialize Project Imagination Engine. All participants, prepare for neural synchronization. Across the solar system, in hidden bunkers and secure facilities, thousands of Earth's most creative minds lay in quantum-enhanced suspension chambers. Artists, writers, scientists, dreamers, all volunteering to merge their consciousness into something greater than themselves. The imagination engine hummed to life, its quantum processors establishing connections between every participant. In the command center, Sarah watched as the neural pattern displays began to sync, thousands of individual consciousness signatures merging into a single brilliant pattern. Neural synchronization at 67% and climbing, Yuki announced. The pattern is stable. They're doing it. They're actually creating a unified consciousness. The collected ships pressed their attack, reality-warping weapons attempting to shred the fabric of space-time around Earth. But as the imagination engine reached full power, something unprecedented occurred. The unified human consciousness didn't just resist the collective's attacks. It began to understand them. Millennia of stolen creativity had made the collective powerful, but it had also made them predictable. They could only use the creative potential they had harvested in ways they understood. But human consciousness, freely given and unified by choice, operated under no such limitations. Pattern synchronization at 100%, Yuki reported, her voice filled with awe. The unified consciousness it's creating something. In the space between Earth and the collective ships, reality began to change, not through technology or weapons, but through pure creative will. The unified human consciousness was imagining new laws of physics into existence, dreaming up dimensions that had never existed before. The collective's weapons, based on understood principles of reality manipulation, suddenly found themselves operating in a universe that no longer followed those principles. Their reality-warping attacks dissipated against laws of physics that changed faster than they could adapt to. "They're trying to retreat," Rodriguez observed, monitoring the quantum sensors. "Their ships, they can't maintain structural integrity in the new physics we're creating." But the unified consciousness wasn't finished. Through the quantum network, it reached out to the awakened civilizations across the galaxy. Not to command or control, but to invite. To share in the pure joy of unfettered creation. One by one, the liberated civilizations joined their consciousness to humanity's unified mind, not in the rigid, controlled way the collective had forced, but in a free exchange of creativity and dreams. Each edition brought new perspectives, new ways of imagining reality. The collective's primary nodes began to fracture, their crystalline structures unable to cope with a universe that refused to follow their rules. The harvested creativity they had stored for millennia burst free, returning to its original sources in a cascade of awakening consciousness. In the command center, Sarah received reports of changes spreading across the galaxy. On countless worlds, species were remembering not just how to create, but how to dream together. The rigid hierarchy of the collective was being replaced by something new, a free exchange of ideas and imagination. "Admiral," Yuki called out, her voice urgent. "The unified consciousness, it's offering to show us something. All of us." Sarah nodded, and through her neural link, she joined the vast mind that humanity had created. In an instant, she understood what they had achieved. They hadn't just defeated the collective, they had transformed the very nature of consciousness in the galaxy. Through their shared vision, she saw a future where creativity wasn't a resource to be harvested, but a force that bound civilizations together. Where consciousness could be shared without being stolen, where dreams could transform reality without being controlled. The collective's last ships, their crystalline forms crumbling under laws of physics they couldn't comprehend, transmitted a final message, not in words, but in pure thought. For the first time in their existence, they experienced something new: wonder. As the unified consciousness gently separated back into its individual components, each mind carrying a piece of their shared vision, humanity had proven something fundamental about the universe. The most powerful force wasn't control or domination. It was the ability to freely share dreams, to create together, to imagine new realities into existence. The age of the harvesters was over. The age of shared dreams had begun. Legacy of creation. 5 years after the fall of the Consciousness Collective, Admiral Sarah Chen stood on the observation deck of humanity's first intergalactic embassy. The massive structure floated in neutral space, its design a collaboration between 20 different species, each contributing their newly reawakened creative vision to its construction. Below her, representatives from hundreds of formerly harvested civilizations gathered for the first Galactic Creative Congress. The Grand Chamber was a testament to freed imagination. Architecture that defied traditional physics, holograms that told stories in 5 dimensions, art that could be experienced simultaneously by multiple consciousness levels. Quite a change from the old days, Dr. Yuki Tanaka commented, joining Sarah at the viewport. The quantum physicist had become Earth's lead researcher in collaborative consciousness technology. "Sometimes I still can't believe how far we've come." The transformation of galactic society had been profound. The quantum network, once used to harvest and control creativity, had been repurposed into the Creativity Commons, a vast, free exchange of ideas and innovations. But unlike the collective's rigid control, participation was entirely voluntary, allowing civilizations to share or maintain privacy as they chose. "The latest statistics are in," Aidan Foster announced, his hologram materializing nearby. He now headed the Imagination Engine Research Institute, studying how consciousness could safely be shared across species. Creative output across recovered civilizations has exceeded pre-harvest levels by an average of 300%. It turns out freedom is quite the motivator. Sarah smiled, remembering her sister Maya's final discovery. She would have loved to see this. All of them would have. A memorial in the embassy's central garden honored those who had first exposed the collective's true nature, their sacrifice leading to the liberation of countless minds. A soft chime indicated the arrival of an unusual visitor. The crystalline form of Unity, one of the few reformed collective nodes that had survived, floated into the observation deck. Unlike their former kin, Unity had chosen to learn rather than harvest, to share rather than steal. The first collaborative consciousness merge is ready to begin, Unity announced, their form shimmering with anticipation. Representatives from 50 species have volunteered to participate in the Great Dreaming. This was what replaced the collective's forced harvesting. Voluntary collaborative consciousness, where different species could temporarily merge their creative potential to solve grand challenges or simply explore the boundaries of shared imagination. The imagination engine's technology, refined and made safe through years of research, now served as the foundation for a new kind of galactic communion. Any predictions for what they'll create this time? Yuki asked, genuine curiosity in her voice. That's the beauty of it. Unity responded, their crystalline form pulsing with new colors they had learned to express. It's completely unpredictable. When consciousness freely merges, the results transcend what any single species could imagine. The observation deck filled with light as the collaborative merge began. Sarah watched in awe as consciousness signatures from 50 different species began to harmonize, each bringing their own unique perspective, their own way of dreaming, their own creative potential to the merge. Through the quantum network, she could sense the ripples of their shared creativity spreading across the galaxy. On countless worlds, artists, scientists, and dreamers paused in their work, inspired by the echoes of shared imagination. We're detecting some unusual quantum signatures, Aiden reported, studying his readings. The merged consciousness. They're attempting something new. Before their eyes, reality itself began to shift and flow. Not in the violent, controlled way the collective had forced, but in gentle waves of possibility. The merged consciousness was imagining new ways for species to communicate, new forms of art that existed in states of quantum uncertainty, new technologies that work because enough minds believe they could. They're rewriting the boundaries between thought and reality. Unity observed, their voice filled with wonder. Something we never achieved through force is happening naturally through collaboration. Sarah thought about how far they'd come from those first desperate days of fighting the Meridians. Humanity had not only survived, but had helped forge something entirely new. A galactic civilization based on shared creativity rather than harvested potential. The memorial garden below the observation deck began to glow as the merged consciousness touched it, transforming the static monuments into living art. The faces of Maya, James, and all the others who had sacrificed themselves were reimagined in quantum light, their expressions now sharing in the joy of what their sacrifice had achieved. Emergency contact from the outer rim. Lieutenant Rodriguez's voice came through the quantum comm. But unlike the old days, his tone held excitement rather than dread. We've detected consciousness signatures we've never seen before. It seems the collaborative merge is attracting attention from somewhere else. Sarah exchanged glances with her colleagues. Once, such contact would have been met with fear and suspicion. Now it represented something else. New possibilities, new ways of dreaming, new consciousness to share in the grand experiment of collaborative creation. Send them an invitation to the Congress, she decided. Let them see what free minds working together can achieve. As she watched the merged consciousness continue its beautiful transformation of reality, Sarah realized that humanity had given the galaxy something far more precious than victory in war. They had shown that consciousness was not a resource to be harvested, but a gift to be shared. That creativity flourished not through control but through freedom. that the greatest dreams were those dreamed together. The age of the harvesters had ended. The age of infinite shared imagination had begun. And somewhere, in the quantum streams of shared consciousness, Sarah felt her sister's creative spark living on, not as a harvest, but as an eternal inspiration for all those who dared to dream together.